Did you know a war older than time itself is raging right now over you? A cosmic clash between heaven and hell that began with the fall of angels and curses the earth to this day. Welcome to Paradise Lost and Found, and the first episode of our gripping three-part series, The War Between Heaven and Hell. In this video, we'll uncover the explosive origins of this epic battle, how 1/3 of God's angels rebelled, how the fight for human souls ignited, and why it's intensifying today. Buckle up, because what you're about to learn might change how you see the world and the unseen forces around you. Let's rewind to the beginning, before Earth, before humanity. The Bible unveils a rebellion in heaven that shook the cosmos. Lucifer, a dazzling angel of light, grew proud and sought to usurp God's throne. Isaiah chapter 14 verses 12 to 14 captures his arrogance. How you have fallen from heaven, morning star, son of the dawn. You said in your heart, I will ascend to the heavens. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. Revelation chapter 12 verses 7 to 9 brings the action. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. But he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil, or Satan. 1/3 of the angels, billions of celestial beings, followed Lucifer in this angelic rebellion. The other 2/3 stayed loyal to God. Popular Christian apologist Dr. Chuck Missler once said, "The fall of Lucifer was the greatest catastrophe in the universe, second only to the fall of man." This wasn't just a celestial power grab. It was the birth of evil, a cataclysmic event that birthed the spiritual warfare still raging today. Imagine the scene: golden halls echoing with war cries, swords of light clashing, and 1/3 of heaven's host plummeting like fiery meteors into the abyss. Some scholars, like Dr. Peter Kreeft, suggest this war wasn't just a single clash, but a prolonged campaign, Lucifer's pride festering until it erupted into open revolt. When Satan and his fallen angels were cast out, they didn't just vanish into the void. They turned their wrath on God's new creation, humanity. Genesis 3 gives us the first battleground. Satan, disguised as a serpent, tempts Eve, and through her and Adam, sin enters the world. Verse 15 is a bombshell prophecy. God tells the serpent, I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel. This is the first hint of the war's end, but the fight had just begun. Theologian C.S. Lewis wrote in the Screwtape Letters, "The humans live in time, but our enemy, God, destines them for eternity. That's why we must fight for their souls." From that moment in Eden, Earth became a battlefield. The fallen angels, now demons, worked tirelessly to corrupt humanity while God's loyal angels protect and guide us. Some scholars, like Dr. Michael Heiser, argue these fallen entities even influenced ancient civilizations, posing as gods to deceive mankind, a pattern echoing into our modern age. Think of the Sumerian myths or Egyptian pantheons. Were they demon lords planting seeds of rebellion against God? So who's fighting in this spiritual battle? On one side, Satan commands his legion, 1/3 of the angels, billions and billions, now twisted into demons. The Bible doesn't give an exact number, but Revelation chapter 5, verse 11 hints at the scale. Then I looked and heard the voice of many angels, numbering thousands upon thousands, and 10,000 times 10,000. If that's the loyal 2/3, imagine the horde Satan controls, a vast, terrifying army of darkness, their once glorious forms warped into nightmarish shapes, driven by rage and envy. On the other side, God's faithful angels, led by archangels like Michael, stand guard. These aren't fluffy cherubs, they're warriors of divine fury. Dr. Billy Graham, in his book Angels, wrote, "Angels are God's secret agents, often working behind the scenes to execute his will." Picture Michael, sword blazing, leading ranks of radiant beings against a tide of snarling demons. This isn't a fairy tale, it's a real ongoing war between heaven and hell, and humanity is the ultimate prize. The Book of Enoch, an ancient text some Christians revere, describes these fallen ones as watchers, once tasked with guarding mankind, now bent on its destruction. Now fast forward to today. This war never stopped, it's all around us. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12 warns, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." The forces of heaven and hell are clashing right now, over nations, over cities, over you. More and more they are crashing through the veil between the dimension of mankind and the supernatural dimension. Look at history. The rise and fall of empires, unexplained plagues, even whispers of sky gods, all traces of this unseen conflict. Christian author Frank Peretti, in his award-winning novel This Present Darkness, paints a vivid picture of demons and angels battling unseen around us. He writes, "The darkness is real, but so is the light, and the light is winning." But here's the kicker. The fight's getting louder. Sightings of strange phenomena, UFOs, orbs, unexplained lights in the sky, are spiking. Are these echoes of the fallen angels? Prophetic voices like Pastor John MacArthur say yes, warning that Satan's forces are ramping up as the end times draw near. Could these be the same watchers from ancient lore, testing the boundaries of our world once more? Why does this matter? Because this war is about your soul and mine. Satan's forces want to drag us into eternal darkness, while heaven fights to bring us into everlasting light. The battle that began with the angelic rebellion in heaven has cursed earth. But it's far from over. In fact, it's escalating, faster than ever. From Eden's fall to today's chaos, every human choice, every prayer, every sin feeds this cosmic tug-of-war. Dr. R.C. Sproul once said, "We're not spectators in this war, we're soldiers, whether we know it or not." The stakes couldn't be higher: eternal life or eternal ruin. In our next video, we'll dive into the present. How UFOs, occult practices, and even cutting-edge science might be thinning the veil between our world and the demonic realm. The forces of hell are getting bolder, and the signs are everywhere. You won't want to miss this next chapter in the end times saga. That's it for The War Begins, Heaven's Fall and Earth's Curse. If this opened your eyes to the spiritual battle raging today, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Make sure you're back for video 2. The veil thins, UFOs, demons, and man's folly. The war's heating up. Don't get caught unprepared. See you next time. Next time. The veil thins, UFOs, demons, and man's folly. Cheers!